Greetings to all of you, and I have the honor to present the program for today. Today is the celebrating 18th birth anniversary of His Holiness the Great 14th Dalai Lama, and the great visit of Tibetan Samdhong Rinpoche. And I have the honor to read the programs. The first, the Buddha illumination by the chief guest. Second, Mangalacharan, the auspicious sutra recitation by S.J. Sera students. So may I invite the students to recite the Mangalacharan Sutra. heard the just concluded verse for the long life of His Holiness, the 14th Dalai Lama. This is a recitation of the Mangalacharan stanzas. The first stanza dedicating for the flourishing of Buddha Dhamma to all part of the world, and second to the great Dhamma teachers for the long life of the great Dhamma practitioners, and the third stanza for the long life of His Holiness, the 14th Dalai Lama. The third program is offering the traditional Buddha tea and rice. The welcome speech by the principal of Seriji School, Geshe Rinjinsering. May I invite the principal to offer the welcome speech. The one who is the source of all the happiness and benefits to the land surrounded by snow mountains, who is none other than His Holiness 14th Dalai Lama. With my prayers for His Holiness, and today is a great day, the 80th birthday of His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama. And in order to celebrate the auspicious birthday of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, we have personally invited Professor Samdhong Rinpoche, who is the great, the former Prime Minister of CTA, and upon his arrival here, I, on the behalf of all the students here, offer him a great welcome. And also today, all the eminent guests gathered here, the abbot of Serija Monastery, and also the disciplinaries and the chanting master, and also all the great teachers and the community of the Sangha, and also the representative and the Chief Justice of the Muslim Tibetan settlement, and also representative, non-government representative of different organizations, the principals and directors of different schools, and also all the other guests and all the students. May I have the honor to, on the behalf of Seriji School and on the behalf of all the students and the teacher, may I offer my great tashidalak and greetings to all of you. Today is the celebration of the 80th birthday of His Holiness, and by Seriji School, and also to remember the kindness of His Holiness, the 14th Dalai Lama. Since our school is the school which is both have students from the monastic community and also from as a tradition of Tibetan tradition, we have planned the program in such a way to celebrate both in the traditional Tibetan way. We have 4 different ways to celebrate this great day. First, we have a debate by 4 senior students, And the topic for the students will be the 3 commitments of His Holiness. And the second program, and the second topic is about the life story of His Holiness from the birth to the current status. And we have an exhibition on His Holiness life story with pictures, presentation. And the third program we have, in order to pray for the long life of His Holiness, we are planning to plant about 200 saplings and trees around the place here. The fourth one, which is the most important, which is related to the education system. So today, tea offering. We have invited Professor Samdhong Rinpoche here today, and we have 2 days program on Rinpoche's talk on the education system. The topic will be about the traditional and the modern education systems, planned for 2 days. And today, one of the most important occasions, the program of the day, and may I have the honor to present a brief introduction about the background of this function. If I present in brief the background detail of the traditional and modern education. Sera School was founded in 1970, and it was one of the first schools in Tibetan monasteries. And different subjects were taught, including different language. And gradually, we are also affiliated to the Central Board of Secondary Education, to the central government in New Delhi. And this is one of the first school which is being recognized by the government of India within the Tibetan monastic community. So we have been coming till this day, based our education system on both the tradition and the modern education system. And also we have been giving all the examinations as per any other schools in India. And we can also see great impact to the individual lives of the students and also to the community. Till now, about 200 students have graduated from these schools, and we consider it a great result of this school. The most important ambition and the goal of this school, led by the great senior monks of this monastery, still there is a feeling that the school has not fulfilled the actual goal and the aim of the great masters who have set up this school. So even this goal cannot be achieved by making just small modification with the rules of the education system. So therefore, I feel that it is necessary that we have to bring change from the foundation or the basic of the education system. So this is what we felt as the director and the staff of this school. So even though in order to achieve such change in the system, so we are lacking in our approach and finding solution to how we can further and improve the education system. Therefore, we have invited Professor Samdhong Rinpoche to present, to give talk and guide us upon how we can improve the education system so that it can improve to a great extent, and especially a kind of education system which is fitting to the Sangha's community. So today we are looking for a new set of education system. So that is our expectation. Actually, it is not just for the monastic school, but for all the other schools existing in Tibetan community, that we are all going under the education system based by the government of India. So even though the education system set by the government of India is not able to fulfill all the needs of our education system, so therefore we are in need of education policy which is fitting to the needs of the monastic community and also all the students here. And that is one of the great achievements that we consider that Professor Samdhong Rinpoche, as the political leader of CTA, has established an education policy, and it was also implemented till 2014, and it has been about 10 years since the education policy was implemented, and we consider that it has been really very successful. So based on that education system set by Professor Samdhong Rinpoche, there were special schools who have also constructed in Dharamsala. So even though those schools may not have implemented the 100% of the education policy, but whatever they have implemented, the portion of that policy has been great successful. So today, when I say that education policy has been great success, I mean that based on my research and based on my understanding, I find it that way. I have an opportunity to do some research on the outcomes of the Rinpoche's education system, and I found that it has been great success. So therefore, we are in need of a different education system or policy which is fitting to the monks community. And under this education system based solely for the monks community, which will be solely for the promotion of Tibetan literatures and language, and also the Buddhist studies, studying about the different traditions of Buddhist schools, and also the life stories of Lord Buddha, and so on. So even though we also have English classes, and we have English classes in the first standard, but all the stories and the theme of the text is based on the tradition of India, which is related to the people of India, not convenient, not related to the Tibetan people. So therefore, if we are able to bring out the textbooks which are solely based on the life stories of Lord Buddha and Buddhist ethics and stories, then this will be great benefit to all the students. So therefore, today we are looking for the possibility of gaining a new education policy solely for the benefit of the monastic community. This is our main expectation from these this program. So ultimately, I pray for the long life of His Holiness, the Dalai Lama. Thank you. Thank you, the principal. The fifth one is a debate by the senior students. Each student have 5 minutes, and I will give a signal at the 4 minute that there is only 1 minute left. The first, Lobsang Yema from the 10th standard. today here as the chief guest, Professor Samdhong Rinpoche. May I have present my respect and greetings to Rinpoche. And today's main topic my topic is about 3 commitments of His Holiness. And my topic is about how to bring the happiness and make the prosperity among the people's life. First, what is the nature of the prosperity and happiness? And second, how the means to achieve it. And happiness is something that we actually experience and feel. And it should not be come through one's own desire, harming other people. So this is one of the means to achieve the happiness in the human being. It is also very difficult that every human being will be satisfied or will be happy in this way. So the whole planet will be impossible to satisfy the needs of every human. So therefore, what is the actual happiness? As the happiness is presented as one's satisfaction, so therefore, if for a country, if there is a good law and based on constitution, then there is happiness with the citizens. Similarly, so therefore, happiness is more towards one's own mental state as it's present in the Buddhist text, and how to subdue or control one's mind, and also how to obtain or how to cultivate the happiness within oneself. There are 2 ways, one from the materialistic or from the external sources through the different industries, innovations, or through medical sources. So even though that is considered as a kind of happiness, but that is not permanent. If we take an example in the American society, which is very high developed in terms of the technology, so their economic system is 5-fold more progress compared to the rest of the world, but still their happiness level is not as same. So therefore it concludes that with just the materialistic and the external developments, a constant or a permanent happiness will not be achieved. As His Holiness presents that happiness should not come from external sources, rather it should be achieved from one's own mental state. As it stated in the sutra also, that the Lord Buddha also present the means to achieve the happiness, which has to be implemented by the sentient beings by themselves. So therefore, the happiness has to be achieved by 2 ways, by studies and education. And as Sajja Pandita says that while the time of study, one may have to struggle a lot, but if we desire and cling to a small happiness, then we won't be able to get the main result. So therefore, the main happiness is the mental state, the happiness which is inner happiness related to one's mind stream. And if the happiness is rather for external, for eating and enjoyment, then it is similar to the dogs and the pigs. And ultimately, may I pray for the long life of His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama and all the great masters. With these prayers, I conclude here. The second discussion, may I invite Nima Jazola. Today, my respect to Samdhong Rinpoche and all the eminent guests, and to my teachers and to all my dear students. First, may I express my respect and greetings. So today my topic for the discussion from the three commitments as the interreligious understanding and harmony. I may present the discussion for 5 minutes. So even though if I have to explain the achievements and the stories and the commitment of His Holiness, it is impossible to present it in a limited time. But today it is a great auspicious time celebrating the 80th birthday of His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama. So when I consider it very fortunate and may I present it in brief. So one important thing, if there is any mistake that I made, if I present anything which is not according to the fact, then I regret my fault. His Holiness always emphasizes and give a lot of teachings and talks on the interreligious harmony and understanding. The interreligious understanding and harmony is the main source of happiness all over the world. In this world, there are many people who are believers, or non-believers, or who are also neutral. So even those people who are considered as believers, but they have their own objects of worship, their own gurus. But then, what is the reason why we practice a religion? The main purpose is to reduce the suffering and to multiply the happiness. So that is the main soul and the aim of all the religions. All the religions teaches about the compassion and love and affection, and in summary, to improve and the great human values. So these are the presentation, a brief on the interreligious understanding and harmony. Since there are different mindsets and mental dispositions, so different religions came to this world. Even in Buddhism, due to the different needs and the mental dispositions of the people, Lord Buddha present his teachings with the divisions of Mahayana and Theravada traditions, and also different schools of thoughts in Buddhist studies. All the religions have their own different traditions, their own presentation of the tenets, and this has become a source of a great conflict in this world, that considering one's own faith as superior to others, which results in equality, which brings harm to the economics and also to the harmony of the people. If the practitioners of different religions continuing this forward, then this will bring a great damage to the world. And if we do not understand the term of the religion and use it as a source of bringing more unhappiness and misery to the society, for example, in the past, in this world, there are a lot of conflicts and religious communalisms. Even though religion is a kind of an antidote to war or a medicine to reduce the conflicts, but the religion itself has become a source of conflict. In 2001, Osama bin Laden, he bombed the World Trade Center was bombed down, which is the World Trade Center is one of the houses of the greatest world business centers. So this is also a result, a conflict arising due to the differences and not understanding the true value of religion. If there are no war and conflicts, then automatically the happiness will increase and the misery will reduce. Even though it is necessary to have different ideologies within the different religions, every religion has their own potential to benefit millions of sentient beings. We also need different medicines to different patients. Similarly, we also need different faith and teachings to suit the different mental dispositions of different beings. Therefore, as a religious leader, they have to present, they have to advise their followers to be more harmonious and friend towards different religions. And this is a great responsibility to bring more happiness to the world. Ultimately, I pray for the long life of His Holiness, the 14th Dalai Lama, and may his teachings spread all over the world, and the Tibetan peoples in exile and in Tibet, may the reunion at the soonest, and may all the Tibetan people be returned back to Tibet. Thank you. I invite Doji Tenzin to present the third debate. My respect and greetings to Samdhong Rinpoche and all the guests and my teachers and students. Today I'm here to present from the three commitments of His Holiness as a Tibetan to promote and preserve the Tibetan culture. And I present it in two headings. First, the importance of Buddhist teachings, and secondly, about the importance of Tibetan Buddhism, and also the importance of the cultures and tradition. Even though there are different religions in this world, some present that the suffering can be erased by physical forms, or the devas can bring happiness. But these are not fact according to Buddhist, as the Lord Buddha says that I cannot erase or eliminate your suffering just as a pig are thrown from many other sources. Similarly, the only possibility to reduce the suffering is understanding the teaching of the Buddha. And also the Einstein, a great scientist, has also stated that if there is one religion which can go along with the scientists in this century, is the Buddhism. Why Tibetan Buddhism become important is that within the Buddhism there are few distinctions. One which is the Oriental or the Eastern Buddhist. And in China and those places, even though all the sections of Buddhism flourish, by the Mahayana sutras are not very practiced or studied. And in other parts of the world, even though all the different tenets are studied, but mostly about the two lower schools were studied. So therefore, in Tibet, all the tenets of the Buddhism are studied. And second, why the culture becomes important is if there is a garden and a lot of flowers within them. So even there, due to the variety of the flowers, the garden becomes more beautiful. Similarly, with different people and different traditions, we need different cultures which is suited to their mental needs. And for the Tibetan culture is one of the extraordinary cultures, which is also based on Tibetan Buddhism, which is also based on the good virtues. And it's also, the script is based on the compositions of the Indian states. If I speak about the epic tale of Lingesar, there are such and such epic histories, and the full tales and stories were written in Tibetan cultures and Tibetan script. And also we have such a great extraordinary culture and religion. So that is something that we have to realize, that we do have such a treasure within ourselves. And ultimately, I pray for the long life of His Holiness, the 14th Dalai Lama, and may all the Tibetans return back to Tibet. Thank you. Samdhong to present the full debate. My prayers and respect to His Holiness, the 14th Dalai Lama. My respect to Professor Samdhong Rinpoche, who is the upholder of the 10 fields of studies, and to all my respected teachers, to all my students. Today my topic for the discussion is among the life story of His Holiness, and to promote the value of peace in this world as a human being. As all the sentient beings are by naturally more clinging to desire more happiness and do not want suffering, so even all the small insects are similar in this factor. But the small insects and animals, they do not have the ability to distinguish between what is the right source of happiness and the suffering. But even humans have this potential, but the humans' desires and needs are greater than their actual requirements. So therefore His Holiness says that the main source of our suffering and unhappiness is due to our expectations to the needs. And if we are able to reduce it, then of course the suffering will reduce. The natural calamities such as earthquakes, floods, windstorms will come, which will also bring great source of suffering to all the humanities. Of course, many of these are also related to the actions of humans for all the years. If we glance back to the human histories, two world wars, millions of people were killed during these two world wars, and the great sufferings. These are all made by human, and also due to the modern technologies, deforestations, and also opening of the treasures, and due to the industrialization, the pollution to the environment, the global warming, the temperatures are rising day by day. So if this continues, and very soon it will be very difficult to even get a clean oxygen to breathe or a clean water to drink. So if what we should be doing at this moment, and should we just relax and sit back? So if since we consider ourselves as an intelligent being on this planet, we must make our pledges and we must move forward to bring changes. It is very difficult to survive just based on money, so therefore the environment becomes very important. The preservation of environment is equally important. So if this great planet, if we bring a great damage to this planet, then the planet which houses all the sentient beings will be reduced to rubble. So therefore, even though there may be great advancements and improvements with the economic and industrializations, it also, at the same time, it increases our greeds. So therefore, it is one of the most important things to promote the basic human values based on compassion. If we are able to do that, then all the sufferings will cease by itself. So therefore, His Holiness finds this factor very important, and he says that as a human being, to promote the human values, he considers the most important among his three commitments. Only due to the promotion of basic human values, we will be able to do service for this great planet. Since as being a disciple of His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama, we should be also engaging more towards the promotion of basic human values based on compassion. Ultimately, finally, my prayers, and may His Holiness live for thousands of years, and all the Tibetan masters. Thank you. The fifth topic may invite Jamawandila to present the fifth debate. His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama is the source of all the benefits and happiness to Tibet. With my prayers for the long life of His Holiness, my respect to Samdhong Rinpoche and all the guests, and also to the directors of the school and teachers, students. Today I took this great opportunity to present a brief debate among the three commitments of His Holiness to the interreligious understanding and harmony. First, what is the definition of religion? Why it is necessary to promote the interreligious understanding and harmony? And what will be the result? There are different religions and faiths in this world. And the Mao Zedong, the communist leader, has stated that all the religions are poison. Even though the religion is a kind of medicine to all these beings who are suffering. And Buddhist teachings mainly emphasize about the mental happiness rather than the physical. So therefore, to summarize, the real religion or the teaching is more towards bringing happiness to the mental state. And every religion speaks about the importance of compassion, love and affection. But when it comes to the views, religions differ on their views. So therefore, to promote understanding between different religions, we have to promote the basic human values, the compassion, and so on. Every religion has the foundation qualities that they can be respect to each other, and all the teachings presented by different traditions can be implemented in one's individual life. And also, the more important is to understand the effects of different religions, which will bring ultimate peace to this planet. And His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama emphasized about the religious harmony and understanding between different religions. His Holiness always speaks about interreligious harmony, and whenever he travels, he emphasizes and promotes the importance of interreligious understanding and harmony. The main source of interreligious harmony is to understand each other's philosophy and tradition. Different faiths and different traditions present different messages of love and peace, which are really needed at this time in this world, which is facing the great difficulties with war and so on. So therefore, as the great His Holiness present and emphasize about interreligious harmony, we also should follow and promote as much as possible. This is my expectation. Thank you. The sixth debate by Lobsang Gyalten. My respect and prayer for the long life of His Holiness in this great hall of spiritual school, to the chief guests who is the upholder and the Mahapandita. My respect to Professor Samdhong Rinpoche and to all the eminent guests and to my dear schoolmates. Today on this great day, the great leader of Tibet, His Holiness, three commitments. Among the three commitments I wanted to speak on the promotion of Tibetan cultures, the preservation of Tibetan cultures. As it is stated that the land of Tibet is a place where all your disciples are. And also as Lord Buddha has professed in the sutras about the plateau of Tibet as a land for Avalokiteshvara, or His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama. So therefore His Holiness, for day in and out, work very hard towards the preservation of Tibetan culture and religion. If I present a few steps taken by His Holiness always emphasized that the preservation of the Tibetan religion and culture depends on the two teachings, the scriptural and the realizations, and also as present in the Abhidhamma Kosha, that the preservation of a religion or tradition is actually based on gaining the realizations and the scriptural teachings. We also need to engage more towards promoting understanding between different sects, and due to the great emphasis by His Holiness. So today, most of the Tibetan people, even the lay communities, have understanding about the basic fundamentals of Tibetan religion and practice in their own daily life the values of compassion, love, and respect. This is also a great source for the happiness within a family, to a society, and to a large extent to the whole world. Second, if I present a few topics about a few means about how His Holiness present the preservation of Tibetan cultures, which solely comes to the preservation of Tibetan language and literature. So therefore, to understanding and studying the Tibetan literature and language, that's the main source for the preservation of Tibetan literature. So language and the literature is the main source for the survival of a people, as is presented by many great scholars. If we are not able to preserve the literature and the language of a tradition of a people, then the very values on which these great traditions are based are lost. Therefore, His Holiness is being revered and highly respected by all over the world, and also as a Tibetan people, at this great difficult time, His Holiness have done a lot for all of us. So it's very difficult to present everything, but whatever I've understood, I present it. So I pray for a long life of His Holiness. So for 10 minutes, we have a Q&A session from the general students here. So everyone can raise their hand if there is anyone asking a question. Please come forward. My respect to Professor Samdhong Rinpoche and to all the guests. My question, you present that it is necessary to have different religions with different traditions. You speak about the importance of having such religions. And now my question is that is there any topics or any fundamental of Buddhism that may be contradictory to any other religion? And it is true, since there are different mental dispositions, and of course, due to that, it's very important that we need different religions and tradition. In Buddhism, we have two vehicles, Mahayana and Theravada. And your question was about whether Buddhism can go in hand with other religions and build a harmony with other religions, even though we have different traditions and different views. So you may feel that it is contradictory. But then at this point, we have to look at the positive side, the convergent points, the points where there are similarities. For example, all the religion promotes compassion, love. It exists in the teachings of Hinduism, Islam, and so on. So similarly, all these great religions teach about the values of compassion and love. So these are the similarities or the converging factors. And in brief, all the religions, the main purpose or the aim is to benefit the sentient beings, to make them more happy. Therefore, we all have the potential. Buddhism has potential to work towards harmonies of all the religions. My respect to Professor Samdhong Rinpoche, to all the eminent guests, to all my dear classmates. I have two questions. It's about interreligious understanding and harmony. Since there are different faiths and religions in this world, like Islam, Buddhism, Christianity, Hinduism, are there a religious harmony between these religions as of now or not? If there is religious harmony, then if there is not, then how can we make it? How can we bring religious harmony? Thank you for your question. As I have explained before, the first part of the question was whether there exists a religious harmony with different faiths or not. So even though there are a lot of wars and conflicts, and as I speak about in 2001, the Osama bin Laden destroyed, bombed the World Trade Center and so on, even though it may not be directly related to a religion, but they are using the religion in the wrong way. So therefore, it is not entirely dependent upon the religion of this all conflict. So therefore, there is a possibility of religious harmony. I think you do not understand my question. And second was how to bring a harmony between religion. So as I explained before, we have to think about the conversion or the positive factor within all the religions. It is not necessary that all the points has to be similar. If there are two persons, if one says that the pillar is built by mud, and if other people says that the pillar must be built by stone, so even though they differ on these ideologies, but if they think about their dissimilarities, then it is difficult to find the converging factors. But rather, we have to think more about the positive or the converging factors which will bring religious harmony. As His Holiness made different religious leaders and attending different religious functions, so these are the ways to promote religious harmony. So this is the last question, and I give the mic to students from TCV. We have also participants here from Tibetan Children's Village. My respect to Rinpoche, to everyone. We speak about interreligious harmony. If you look at the history of Tibet, we have different schools of thoughts, or we have different tenets. So since due to the different tenets and school of thoughts, in Tibet we have a history of some conflicts within the different sects. So if we have to now teach other people about the religious understanding, then how come that in Tibet itself, in history, we have histories of occasions of different conflicts? Please, can you repeat the question? I didn't understand you. Summarize your question, please. To repeat again, if we look at our history, for example, Gelug, Nyingma, Sajak, Kagyu, which are all sects of Tibetan Buddhism, in history we have different conflicts within this sect. So why all these conflicts happen between different sects in Tibet? Is it that they do not understand the main fundamentals of the religion? It may be true that we have different accounts of such conflict in Tibet between different sects. So your question was whether they do not see the need of religious harmony or not. I don't think that they didn't see the reason for religious harmony. Even if you look at one family, if there is, if they live happily, then the prosperity of the family will increase. I don't think that I can say that they didn't see the needs or the reason of religious harmony, but maybe due to that circumstances compelled them to have conflict, or maybe we can say that they do not understand each other, or it is due to the lack of the understanding of the religion. The sixth program, Keynote address by Chief Guest. Our respect to the abbot of Sera Monastery, and also to all the eminent guests, director and principal of Seriti School and all the teaching staff, and the local justice and representative officer, and also the staff and students, to everyone. Today, on the 80th birthday of His Holiness, the 14th Dalai Lama, which is very near, and in order to celebrate this great occasion, you have planned out many programs, and I find all of them very interesting and they're very good. I wanted to congratulate you to all and congratulate you for your great work. The land of Tibet is a unique land for the disciples of Avalokiteshvara, the Buddha of compassion, and it's also a land of great religious harmony. And the reason why it is able to remain as such a way is due to the kindness or His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama, who is also the emanation of Cherisik, as he took the human form to come to this world and to benefit the Tibetan people. And after that, different scholars, interpreters who took His Holiness took the manifestation different masters. So till now, if you look at history, Tibet has been a very unique place in the preservation of the teaching of the Lord Buddha. And Tibet has a unique quality of preservation of the Buddha, which has the whole teachings in one place. And we are in the 500 year of the last stage of Buddha's teaching, and at this degenerated period, so even at this degenerated period, we have such great achievements due to the blessing of His Holiness, from the first Dalai Lama Yendun Drupal to till now, the reincarnations of His Holiness. And His Holiness service and achievement has been based mostly till the fourth Dalai Lama for the spiritual part. Then from the fifth Dalai Lama onwards, his responsibilities are both based on the spiritual as well as for political. And the 14th Dalai Lama has come at a time when the Tibet was at a great crisis of declining, and the very survival of Tibetan people and religion was facing danger. So therefore, His Holiness came at such a critical time as you presented in your debate. So this is a great service and kindness by His Holiness to the Tibetan people. So therefore, it is beyond our imagination, beyond our understanding, and it is something that we can never repay. So this is something very clear that everybody understands. So therefore, among the measures and the means to repay the kindness, the supreme and the best one is to listen to His Holiness and follow what He explains or implement in one's life. And as it is stated in the sutra, that the best medicine is to understand what you have heard from your master. So therefore, if we feel that if we want to repay a part of His Holiness kindness, then we have to make sure that not even a slight part of His Holiness words are not being violated and followed and implemented. This is explained in all the sutras and the texts, that the best way to impress or to be of service of your master, to be of service to your master, is by listening to his advices and following it. And His Holiness speaks about the three commitments or the four commitments, however we explain. These are the commitments that we have to practice, put into practice in our life. As we say that, as it is done by our great masters, so on we disciples have to follow it. So similarly, the life story and achievements of His Holiness is not about the beggars count the treasure of the rich people. It is not like that, but rather it is more like practicing and trying to obtain or gain whatever the possibility of His Holiness achievements. So therefore, first it is very important to have one's own mental state ripened, therefore to control one's afflictions and not to go under the influence of the distractions. For the religious harmony, the first important thing is to set up a platform where there is no conflict. So when I speak about a common platform, I do not mean that you do not have any understanding of any religions. As you are present in debate, due to the different mental dispositions and needs, we need different teachings and religions. And one thing important that we have to know is that whatever teaching is being presented is something that we have to put it in practice. And there is not a single point of the teachings that we can abolish or not practiced. And all the teachings are very auspicious and precious in terms of how it is being presented, in terms of the mental dispositions of each and every followers. It is not just for the Buddhist philosophy or tenets, where it speaks about the importance of to interpreting about the definitive and the provisional factors. This can be applied to all traditions as well. But the reason today we see different accounts of conflict with different traditions, and they blame it or they use the name of religion. And you have presented in your debate that different practitioners who claim that they are part of a religion and use a religion's name to explain about the conflict, which is really true. If you look at the history of Tibet, within the Tibetan community back in Tibet or the histories, there are many accounts of conflict within different sects of Saidya Kagyu and so on. If you look at the Western countries also, the same we can see. If you look at the political history of Tibet, and many people feel that due to the different accounts of conflict or disagreement in Tibetan politics, the people feel that disagreement or the conflict is being same with the religions of Tibet, and that this conflict, when the political disagreements about taking powers, the sharing of the powers within the Sakya and Kagyu, so these conflicts are actually, even though it happens within a community of religious practitioners, but rather they are more fighting towards the political power sharing rather than the religious. And they are not fighting due to based on their religious teaching, but rather in order to gain their political supremacy and political power, they're using the name of religion to their own benefits. And if you look at in the history, it is very important that we have to know that there are no conflicts at all till now due to between the different sects of Tibetan Buddhism. Due to the arrival of Shantarakshita to Tibet and the survival of Buddhism, it has been about 1,300 years. There have been many conflicts, but not due to the practice or due to the religions. And all these conflicts we can see arises due to their own interest for politic power sharings. So all these conflicts are not purely religious. We are a sect, and what is Gelugpa? Whether they just come from or sky or just come from anywhere, it is not so. So the sects which came before Gelug, such as Nyingma and Kaiku, and it is related. It's the lineage of the Gelug has to go to the Kaiku and Nyingma as well. If you think about the basic qualities of relying upon a spiritual master, which is the foundation of all the Buddhist teaching, it is something that even the title itself, the conflict between Tibetan sects, such a conflict will never arise or never have been in history. If it is a real practitioner, they have to be very patient. If one is not a patient or impatient or intolerant, then they cannot be described as a religious practitioner. You speak about Osama bin Laden on different practitioners. If he is really a religious person, then he will never do any violence. Of course, he didn't understand the religious. He is not able to practice what his religion teaches him. The great scholars of Islam, they never speaks of the violence. When they explain the term jihad, the term jihad is explained by Islam scholars as a means to control or eliminate one's afflictions within us. And it is not based on harming each other, rather it is a compassionate qualities. Due to that compassion, they use the violence as a means sometimes to eliminate one's own afflictions. And even though they claim they're themselves as a Muslims, but they may not be real practitioners of Islam. These are very important points that we have to understand. In Tibet, there are many conflicts, many murders, many people killed, but they are not entirely or purely based on Tibetan religion and sects. Of course, this results in great damage to the teachings of Buddha. In future also, if we need to have a stable Tibetan society, every society, every tradition and sect have to come together to one point and work together for the prosperity of Tibet as one. So if we reduce and eliminate the religious intolerance, then of course with that we will be able to realize the ultimate religious harmony. So today, on the auspicious day of the celebration of the 80th birthday of His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama, and today we have to pray that due to the merits of all the Tibetan people, that may His Holiness live for thousands of years. This is important. Thank you. Vote of thanks. The Chief Guest Rinpoche have presented about the three commitments of His Holiness. I wanted to thank each and everyone and all the debate, the students who present the debate from the class 8, 9, 10. I wanted to thank them for the debate. And also, there are many people who want to ask questions, but we do not have time for each and every one of them. And I'm sorry for that. The 8 program is planting of saplings around here for the benefits of Tibetan, for the long life of His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama.
Nắm hút đây.